Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. The critically acclaimed smash hit, The Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson Musical, has kicked off its national tour, and it will be returning to New York's famed Beacon Theater from March 28th through the 31st. And I'm here on the rooftop bar of the Citizen M Hotel, where I caught up with the show's 3 stars, McCarrell, Kristin Stokes, and Jorrel Javier. Thanks so much for sitting with me here for BroadwayWorld.
Yeah, so exciting.
Okay, so what is it like living in this super world of Percy Jackson?
It's so much fun. It is. I mean, we go on stage and you kind of have to be like a demigod or goddess to get through this show. And so we are living, breathing it every day. We're really fighting everybody. It is so much fun.
And what's good is that in the beginning of the show, he's kind of a normal kid still. So when stuff really starts going down, it's kind of like really going down in my life as well. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going here today. So there's a good transition into the chaos in the show. Which is
right,
helpful.
and like there's this natural arc of kind of easing us into the show, and so we as people also kind of get to ride the ride along with the audience, and that's always really fun every night.
Because the show's a track meet. I mean, you guys start like you're fighting dragons and demons and sword fighting, right?
Non-stop.
Yeah, it is a workout. It is a workout.
So what is that like? I mean, first of all, tell me who you all play. Because you play Percy.
I play Percy.
Yeah.
The Percy Jackson.
Okay.
I play Annabeth Chase.
And I play Grover and Mr. D.
So you're all friends in the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, the trio that basically saves the world.
Isn't that great?
No big deal.
And I'm sure you hang together just touring, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah.
truly a quest. Like, in the show, we end Act 1 going on a quote-unquote killer quest, and I was like, Stokes, are we gonna do this tour? And it was truly like going on a quest.
We're gonna let's do it. And so we're living the quest life on tour.
Oh, well, let's talk about touring. Who's toured the most?
0 of us.
No.
None of us have toured.
None of us have toured
We're all
before.
tour versions.
I love that.
Yeah.
So did someone give you like an insight, like what to pack, what to take? Did you call like friends that had toured?
Some of the older people in the show, like Ryan Knowles and Jalen, are kind of like tour veterans.
And
so,
Sarah Beth Pfeiffer, who plays
yeah.
Clarice. She's toured before.
Okay.
So they help us, but like my suitcase when I went out was just the most random stuff I thought I might need, and then the first time we came back, I just took out
Empty.
Yeah, I
It's a
definitely
skill.
overpacked. Yeah, I overpacked. I had never really done anything before. I just graduated college last May.
Brag alert.
No, I'm not bragging. I'm saying I didn't know what to expect. I had friends who had gone on tours before, and so I called them up, and they gave me their tips and tricks. But nothing really prepares you for living life in a suitcase and on the road and just going from hotel to hotel. So we're all kind of learning with each other, and the cast is really close. So we all hang out in Chris's room. We play board games.
Yeah, a lot of board games.
We have
a lot of
onesie
card
parties.
games,
Yeah.
a lot
Animal
of
onesies.
It's pretty ridiculous.
So you all packed these suitcases, they were exploding. What was that like one item you had to have, that you still have, that you have to live with on the road?
My tiger onesie.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like a rule. Like we all got, if we didn't have it before, everyone got one online, and we have like a onesie animal party where we're like, after the show, we're like, all right, onesies, yes. We put on our onesies and we all go to like a room and hang out.
It's a zoo. Yeah.
It's not leaving. I know
Is
it
it a
seems
company
ridiculous,
that
but
sells
it's coming.
these? Are they theatrical?
No, we just all bought them.
Oh,
Gotta
they're
love it.
theatrical.
They're absolutely theatrical.
They're definitely theatrical. How would I? Maybe
Your camera?
my iPad.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I use my iPad.
It was an iPad for you?
Yeah.
What was it for you?
Tiger onesie.
That was all she wanted. Like,
That's it. That's it. I mean, I can buy whatever else I want on the road. I need the tiger onesie.
Okay.
That's true.
I have a fur coat that I bought my freshman year of college that goes everywhere with me. I call it my Sits Pro Bro.
Okay, I love it.
It's like
It's ridiculous.
full floor length, and it's really warm. I chill in it backstage. I
It's so
cuddle up with
drama.
it.
It is so drama.
That's irreplaceable to me. Her name is Stella. She's
love
great.
it.
Yeah.
So she's named.
She's named.
Oh, yeah.
She's part of the family. She's touring.
So she's your original onesie.
Oh,
Exactly,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah,
You're
that is my original one.
He also has a like oversized shirt that has Oprah's enlarged
Oh,
face
yeah.
on it that
Okay.
he pins to the wall of his dressing
Of my
room.
dressing
One day
room.
I walked past and I was like, dude, what the? I was like, is that Oprah?
Oprah?
He's worn it one time, and it is it's frightening.
It's great. It's literally just her face.
Okay.
Like the entire sweater is her face.
I want to see you with the sweater and the coat.
You know,
God.
yeah, that
Yes.
happens often. Actually,
That's it.
yeah.
All right, let's go back to the show.
Yeah.
Fans love this show.
Yes.
Everybody fell in love with this show first in New York. I mean, that was crazy because you two were with it in New York.
Yeah.
So what was that like? It sort of creeped into town, and we all were told to go see this incredible show.
I just remember first preview,
Yeah.
I was sitting there with this foam seashell about to escape the underworld by blowing into it, and I was like, I just hope people get this show. Because if they don't,
Yeah.
it's going to be so weird because
Yeah.
it's a weird show and people were just ready to play. They were ready to play. When substitute teachers turn into monsters, people are right there with us.
Yeah.
So that was like the most exciting thing for me because we came up with this show in like the most intimate way where we were doing things that we thought were like creative and funny and it was such our group's atmosphere and personality. And then when we presented it, the fact that resonated with so many people and that they were right there with us, it was so exciting because it's so much us being ourselves.
We had to invent, how do you make a minotaur? How do you showcase someone turning into a monster? How do you make a man who's in a wheelchair come out and now he's a satyr horse? It's literally ridiculous problems that we have to just be like, this is ridiculous. Let's be in this room together and come up with the silliest thing we can. What do we find hilarious right now? And thank God that translates because everyone's on board with us. And you know what it is? That's the nature of the book, which is the source material. It takes itself seriously, but not too seriously.
Yeah.
It knows it's ridiculous, and that's kind of how we all come to it every night. We're friends, and we're like, this is ridiculous, but we are having so much fun, and we're in the world like it is serious. And so I guess it translates.
Yeah.
What was it like for you joining the tour? They were together from the beginning.
It was nuts. I mean, I was a massive fan of the books.
Yeah.
I read the entire series in middle school. It's how I got through middle school. So for me, it was
great.
a complete dream come true. It was my favorite series. It was my Harry Potter. My sister wouldn't let me touch her books.
Yeah.
And so it became my series. And so for me to be able to not only join such a loving company, but also be in the room when they're making changes and finding out ways to more efficiently and more truthfully tell the story, it was so wonderful for me because not only do I have this sentimental value for the books, but now it's I get to be a part of this process. I get to play with the original Percy and this Annabeth that's been with the production for 5 years now, and it's a dream come true for me every night.
Well, let's talk about the books. Were you big fans of the books before you started this?
I was never a fiction reader.
Okay.
I loved nonfiction. I loved learning about, how things worked and a history of things, but I was never a story person because theater was always that thing for me.
Got it.
So I got into this and then it bridged. I was like, oh, I need to read this book now. And it blew my mind. I was like, this is the funnest world, and we are about to blow this sucker up.
Totally. And he does such a good job of tying in all the real Greek mythology into this mystical story and bringing it into into the future. And it is so fun to see how he does it.
Were you a fan of the books?
I had no idea about the books. I was called in, and it was before it was anything. I knew Stephen Brackett, and I didn't even know that he was the person that called me. And I had a mysterious phone call being come in for the show, and I was like, I don't even know what it is. My side said something about Auntie M, so I was like, is this a weird Wizard of Oz thing? What does that mean? Of course, now I know Auntie M, it's M as in Medusa.
She knows every detail of everything.
But now I was then I learned what it was, and then I was like, all right, let me get into this. So I've read the entire series twice now, and so I'm the unofficial dramaturg.
Yeah, she is.
And Jorrel's the lifelong
fancy.
Where I'm just can we put this Easter egg in, please? The fans will really appreciate it. I will really appreciate it. So there are little props throughout the different scenes. Just even something as small as Dionysus having a Diet Coke because he's not allowed to drink. Or my character Grover having his pan flute. That was something that mattered a lot to me because that's how he fights. So just little like Easter eggs in the props in our actions. It's
I love that you have
really
Easter
fun.
eggs
Yeah.
in the tour too, right? So everyone
so
coming to see the
much.
tour,
Yeah,
who are
yeah.
obsessed with this
Eyes
story, right?
peeled.
Yeah. So if you're just if you're new to the story, you
Wow.
can get it. But if you are obsessed with it, we've layered in so much stuff that like
You can
even
find-
though we
yeah.
don't have some chunks of the book because obviously it's
Yeah.
too long, we've tried to put in little things so everyone was like, oh my god, they know it though, they appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
So.
So pedal to the metal and grind. I never dreamed that I could do this. Never felt like I was worth a damn. But I'm sort of getting through this. I mean, look at where I am.
Let's talk about the fan base.
Yes.
Have you named your fans?
No.
No.
Oh, I guess
They're
we're
not fans, they're demigods.
They're demigods.
all right.
They're
That
is true.
half-bloods.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
They're called half-bloods, right?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
half-bloods, I guess.
That's great. You did it right here at Broadway World. I love it.
There it
Yeah.
is.
I mean, yeah, we'll see.
Well, let's
Yeah.
talk about how loyal they are. I mean, I'm sure, just talk about, it's like going to a rock concert when you go to your show.
It is. It really is. And afterwards, stage door is crazy. Some of these
Yeah.
theaters, because we're touring, New York, people
Yeah.
are used to it. But a lot of these theaters are like, what is stage door? What do you mean you need barricades? What do you mean? And they're like, we've never seen people come back here, let alone the amount of fans, the response.
Yeah.
We have dressers dressing us like after our first kind of prologue, we pull this curtain and Chris is there and he'll get just like screams and the people backstage are like, people are screaming.
We're not
like,
used to
what's
this.
going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
We're not used to it. And the fans are just so amazing. And they've been so supportive too
Yeah.
because they're really happy with this adaptation and so they are behind us 100% and we're so thankful
And
for
they
that.
really do get us through long days. Like
Oh,
we
yeah.
had a day where we had 3 shows in DC and we were exhausted by
That was
the
cra-
third
we were
show.
Looney Tunes by
And as soon as we came out, they were screaming, they were clapping, they were with us from the get-go, and it just gave us all the energy and all the strength that we had lost along the way. We had just like regained it in like a fraction of a second, and it was just the most magical thing.
And what's refreshing about it is that the heroes of the show are not your average heroes. They're stumbling their way through this show, truly, especially me.
Yeah.
So the support that comes from the audience, it really is this "you can do it" Percy
Yes,
kind of
yes.
energy, rather than like you're a perfect rock star. That's what's so refreshing to me about it is that it's kind of this communal like everyone is rooting for these kids who are fighting against all odds of success and have all their own difficulties and weaknesses and strengths.
Disabilities.
So that's what's so fun to me is that we're lifting up this story that is not your average perfect muscle heroes of the world.
Totally.
And people truly banding together to fight for what they think is right.
I never try to do anything. I never mean to hurt anyone. Try to be a good kid, good son. But no one ever will take my side. All I ever do is take the fall. I swear that I'm a good kid. Guess I'm good for nothing at all.
Kind of one of our biggest messages
Yeah.
is, the things that make you different are the things that make you strong. And it's
Sure.
just, at its heart, yes, we have monsters and all this stuff, but at the heart, it's about this boy saving his mother and figuring out who he is, figuring out all these things that he thought would hold him back his whole life are actually his strength, and it's this new viewpoint on the world that makes him a hero. And it's kind of embracing by the end. He's the one that gets everyone bored of being like, you know what? All these things that you think are, disabilities, these are our fresh new viewpoints, and let's go out into the world. Let's choose to be out there and show everyone like a new way to look at things, and that's what we all need.
Hey, talk about your character has all these things that are going on with him, just to get through the world and everything else. Just talk about what it means to you and how you touch an audience.
Like getting into theater, I felt like there was like 2 paths I could take. I had like a lot of voices in my ear that are like, just be normal, go work out more, and keep singing like you're singing. And I had this other like uncharted territory where I was like, what if I stay skinny? What if I don't really turn normal completely? And like see what that brings to the theater world. And like this is the first show that I really feel like, thank God that I chose that path, because I feel like I'm using every ounce of my brain and my body and my personality to like really tell this story. And it makes what's so fun for me is how many people relate to that take on the hero story, rather than the take where you're like, wow, it's Hercules and he's winning, you know? So for me, it's so exciting because I just feel like I'm using my entire set of circumstances in this show, which is very fun.
Terrific.
Absolutely.
For you?
I agree. I think it's kind of, you know, again, I'm someone who went the non-traditional path in theater, and it is so refreshing to be in something where you're like, actually every weird out of the box thing that you are is perfect, and let's go further with that. And it's polished, but it's completely unpolished. It is just, you know, as you are, here it is, and it's refreshing because it's not something you get to see in shows all the time. And
for me, it is in the same vein in that when I was auditioning for colleges, I was thoroughly convinced that I had to change everything about myself so that I could get in. You know, and so I spent the majority of my college career kind of debunking all of these myths that I had created in my head, that I needed to be something different in order to succeed, as opposed to finding what was unique about me and using those as my strengths. And so when I found this show, and I, you know, obviously I was a fan of the novel, but I was also such a huge fan of the message that this musical was trying to relay to the people. That was one of those things where that's what made it matter to me, because not only now was it a musical about my favorite series, but now it had contained like the heart of what was the novel, or what the novel was trying to portray, and it did it in this just magical like 2-hour little musical. So for me, it was very much so reinforcing all of the things that I had gone through in college.
This is such a perfect musical, perfect book, perfect score. What's about singing a score?
oh my God.
I mean, you just gotta dive in.
Yeah.
It's a nut score to be singing every night. It's truly like a rock experience when it comes to the vocals. So we just kind of dive in, and we never talk about it, which helps me. Like Sarah Beth also has like a crazy range in this show vocally, and we just like always made a pact where I was like, I won't say this is hard if you don't say this is hard, and we just act like it's normal.
That's
and we
great.
just do it every night.
Yeah, Rob just likes to really write. Rob Ruki, he wrote all the music. I don't know if he does it on purpose. I'm gonna say he does, because he likes to write in the sweet spot where it could just constantly be on your break the entire time. And it makes it exciting because you're like, are they gonna do it? And there is no like, oh, let me just tone this down to get through this matinee. It is all or nothing for every song, every show, and you know, you just get up and do it.
It may not be my quest, but maybe it's mine away. My grand plan is that I will be remembered. My grand plan, just to wait and see. The better wiser, 'cause I'll rise up, bring on any challenge, and someday soon the world will notice me.
I want to go back to the fans. I heard something happened like in Chicago or in a lot of cities where there were some people who couldn't afford tickets.
Yes. So there's been something that's set up. This is like the power of online, you know. It's called Help the Half-Bloods, and it was created by some of the fans because there are so many fans of this show, and they wanted to come see it, but maybe they couldn't afford it, or the ticket plus travel, you know. And so there's just been an account that's been set up where if you can donate to help other fans come see the show, then do it. And we've had so many fans who've come because of Help the Half-Bloods. It's been like so touching.
And that was a huge motivation, I know, for me personally, and I think other people who did it off Broadway. The idea of bringing this show across the country and making it more accessible so that people aren't dealing with off-Broadway prices at every stop, and that it is closer, so like maybe a 1-hour car trip rather than 8 hours or having to take an airplane. So for me, it was really trying to broaden the people that could possibly see our show. And the people who need our show might not be the people who have it all together enough to be able to have a family trip to New York to see a show they want to see. So the fact that it's even going the next level, that the fans are taking it the step further to even make it more accessible than already us going across the country is awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And I think a huge reason why a lot of us are touring the show is really to make it
So
accessible.
the Half-Bloods can meet up online and figure out how they're gonna like get into a van, a Half-Blood
Exactly.
van.
Exactly, the
We'll take you to, we'll take you to that city. We'll all go to see these
Exactly.
shows together.
Yeah.
And they do that.
Yeah.
There's like a Twitter group that kind of they planned a certain show at a certain city, and they all met each other for the first time. They had only met each other via Twitter, and they were really close friends online, and they finally met each other. They saw the show, and we got to meet them after the show. And it was so cool because we were aware of their Twitter presence, and so we could finally put a face onto their account, and it was like they were the sweetest people. They were super nice. And it's just great. The fans are super loyal. They're super, super into the show. They're with us, and it makes us have a better time performing for them.
I love that. There's all this like demigod light coming through the window now. Look at this. We're all being bathed in the demigod light here. We're sitting at the Citizen M Hotel here in New York. I mean, it's a gorgeous sunny day here in New York. My final question is, if you could sum up the best part of the experience of doing this show and bringing this message across the country, what is it for each of you?
For me, it's the end song, Bring On the Monsters.
Yeah.
It's just this concept of choosing what adult you want to be and how you want to impact the world when you don't have examples.
Yeah.
When the generation above you might not be putting it in your face of this is the best way to do it, and you're left with this open script in front of you, and you're like, this is the kind of person I want to be, and this is the kind of impact I want to have on the world. And I really think that's what we leave the audience with, that it's up to you. It's not up to your parents. It's not up to the generation before us. So doing that every night across the country is the best part for me.
Absolutely. I would agree with that.
Yep.
And if I can add to it, I also, it's been so fun to do the Annabeth song, My Grand Plan, because it's all about, you know, just kind of this awareness that it's like this feminist anthem that suddenly hops into the show. We're focused on Percy and all this thing, and all of a sudden we zoom out. We're like, oh wait, here's this character who has been fighting her whole life to be recognized for things that she goes above and beyond. She's overqualified and yet is completely ignored. And so it is so cool every night. I can feel the energy of the audience, not only from all the young girls, but you know, just everyone young in the audience who gets to like zoom in and hear this point of view of like, oh, you know, this is, you know, maybe not always the best person is recognized, and who should I be paying attention to? And you know, she realizes that like no one's going to speak for her, so she has to speak for herself, and it's a great lesson I love to sing about throughout the country. It's so cool.
I think for me, it's that knowing that the show is going to be someone's first. It's going to be someone's first show. It's going to be the first time they see a Filipino on stage. It's going to be the first time they see a woman singing about what she wants and not what about the guy that she may or may not be romantically involved with. It may be the first time that they see someone who's a little bit more of an outlier, someone who's weird or funky or not your typical hero. It's gonna be someone's first, and it's gonna inform them in the way they want to live their life, or if they're an actor, it's gonna inform them whether or not they want to pursue this career. And for me, that's the most fulfilling part, because I'm here because of a production like this. And my life has been this incredible roller coaster ride because of the arts, because of musical theater, and knowing that there is at least one person in every show who may have that same kind of catalyst because of the show, that's really, really important to me, and we all get to be a part of it. So.
You're all so good at what you do. Thank you for spending one of your
thank
days in
you.
New York on your little
course.
hiatus from the tour. So for everybody across the country, they can just go to the website, right? BroadwayWorld.com, because you're going everywhere across the United States, right?
Yeah, come find us. We'll be there.
There's gonna be a fight. There still might be a war. For the moment, we've got danger on the run.
I and things will get bad before they will get better. It may feel like an ending, but the battle's just begun.
Are we ever gonna once have it easy?
Nope, feeling ready.
Feeling stoked.
Feeling queasy.
We could fail, but we have to try.
Don't feel bad, cause we're usually about to die. Bring on the monsters, bring on the monsters, bring on the real world. Bring on the monsters, bring on the real world. Bring on the real world. Bring on the real world. And I'll be back next summer, you'll see me again. I'll be back next summer, I'll survive till then. I'll be back next summer, you'll see me again. I'll be back next summer, I'll be back next summer, I'll be back next summer.